Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, bracket contests, team matchups, and game trends at BetOnline. Updated odds for everything from live games, the conference championships, right through the Final Four and championship game. BetOnline is your college basketball headquarters this season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your bonus. BetOnline.AG, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. Guys, March Madness is done. Now it's time to kind of roll into NBA playoff season. This is probably the best time of the year. I mean, for us, us NBA enthusiasts right here. I mean, I love playoff season. It's like March Madness, but for like 3 months because we have all the 7-game series and stuff. I love it.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. The play-in has made it even more exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it usually makes the play-in actually start a week or two before it actually starts.
Yeah, it'll give us a week to rest too because we need it.
Yeah, well, Harden's banking on that this week, so
yeah,
yeah, and we are too for Harden's sake.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get right into it. So we're gonna go over a couple topics here, and then we're gonna do game predictions for the rest of the regular season. So this will be our last regular season episode. And yeah, because Teja's actually gonna be at the Brooklyn the season finale. I guess the Nets next Sunday on Easter Sunday. So we'll have somebody in the building.
I'm torn because I want us to play because I want to see our guys, but I also want them to rest. So it's like,
yeah, good luck with seeing the guys play.
Yeah,
I know, man. I'm hoping.
Good luck with seeing them. It's a road game or home game?
Road.
It's at Brooklyn.
Yeah, good luck with even seeing them in the building.
Oh, really? They might not even be there on the bench. Like
it wouldn't surprise me.
I was gonna say that'd be pretty cool. You can actually talk to Embiid and Harden if they're in street clothes on the bench. That'd be kind of
I'm sure they'll just have conversation with me throughout the game.
Being that the game is nearby, it go either way. But
that's true.
Sometimes they can come up the day of the game, and then just go back with the team. I'm not sure how they go to Brooklyn. I know we go to New York. We used to take the train, so I'm not sure how they do it now.
Yeah, just name drop Eric Teja. You get a seat in the box with Maury.
Is that right, Eric? You got that kind of pull? Just name drop.
I never used it, so I don't know. Yeah.
I think it also depends on how we do to finish out. If we actually need that game, then we need that game, right?
It's true.
So
I think we have to win at least one more, right?
Yeah.
To avoid Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. After that, that's done.
Yeah, the only thing that would make it happen is if Embiid feels like he has to play the rest of the season to be the MVP, because he's missed, I think, like one or two games less than.
I read some stat. If he were to, I think already at this point, if Embiid were to win the MVP, he'd miss the most games ever for an MVP. So I think
since like Bill Walton like 50 years ago.
Yeah,
has Joel played 65 games?
Ooh.
I think he has to play the rest of it to be there. I'm on it right now, actually.
So we already know what the league is okay with.
Yeah.
They just let us know what they're okay with.
He's at 64 right now.
So tonight.
He just needs to play one more game and then he's okay.
Is 65? Is it 65 or 68 what it's going to be?
65.
That's currently, but the new one's going to be 68, right?
No, it was no current.
There is no threshold.
So 65. The new rules
going forward. Yeah.
Okay.
So he gets
that's what I'm saying. We know that's what the league is okay with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one more game. Yeah. Damn.
I told you a couple weeks ago that there was potential that you might get to see Mac McClung action on in that season finale, which is kind of fun. Jaden Springer, Mac McClung, little blue coats action in the NBA.
That's true.
Yeah, but they're in the championship though. I mean, will they be finished?
I think it wraps up right before the regular season is over. I could be wrong about that, but I thought that's because I thought that little tournament goes on before the season's over. Because some of those guys get
The championship is 2 out of 3. It's not just one game like the previous games.
Oh, I see it. Huh. So
maybe not.
Maybe not then. Maybe you might just get Jaden Springer.
It's gonna be Paul Reed time for sure.
Springer was playing too.
But he's been doing the two-way thing. He's been going back and forth. So I mean, he's going to play in the G League championship.
Definitely.
So would he not be traveling the team during the championship too, or no? Is that? I mean, I don't know how that works. Would he still travel?
The champion is probably this week, so he'll probably play in the championship, and when it's over, come back to the team. Okay. I'm just saying. I just don't know if it's going to be over by Sunday. I think the championship may be like this week, that day or that weekend. I'm sure they're not going to have it collide with the last day, so it may be after or maybe before.
Okay. Are you looking it up, Teja?
I was trying to, but I don't. G League playoffs begin, but where's the championship date?
You look at the G League site and look at the schedule.
G League playoff schedule. Here we go. April 9th is what it says.
April 9th is the championship. Yep. That's the day of.
Would that be the last day?
That's the day of the game.
That's the day of the game.
So you get no McClung and Springer.
No McClung and Springer.
Sorry, buddy.
Maybe that'll be more pressure for the guys to play.
I'm just saying, like that's what I knew that they.
Damn, you're trampling.
I think the G League. I know the G League wraps up before the play-in games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why you have to play it as early as you can before the play-in game starts.
Yep.
That makes sense. Well, you'll get Furkan, Tage. I know you're a big Furk fan.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah.
You're a big fan. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's this guy.
This guy.
There you go.
All right. So with the first topic tonight, so since last show, we beat the Raptors and then got beat down by the Bucks by 13, but in a game that did not seem close. Third quarter was pretty close for a little bit, but didn't really feel close at all. After the game, Tobias Harris said, quote, "I'm not watching the game on TV, but I can guarantee you saw a team that looked a little defeated out there from time to time in the game. That can't be us as the playoffs get ready to start." We all watched the game on TV, and we all saw what we saw. What did you guys think? Was it as bad as Tobias is saying in his post-game comments?
I think part of it was like that. I wouldn't say the whole game was like that. I do kind of feel like once they jumped on us and then we kind of made a fight back and they jumped on us again, it was sort of like, oh, well, we can't beat them today. Let's just one of those games where you're like, okay, it's just not our night. Let's just move on to the next one. I kind of got that feel. But I also had that same feel when Boston beat Milwaukee by 30 before then. Like I had the same feel, like it's just not our night. Let's just move on. So I don't put much into it as far as a carryover into the playoffs. I just think it was just one of those games where team jumped on you and kind of had it going that day. If I have a concern for it, my concern is you've played them back-to-back at their place, and they've jumped up to 15-plus point leads in both games. That would be my concern. And why is that happening?
Yeah. That is I was just looking up. So that was the second lowest amount of free throw attempts for Joel, playing 30 or more minutes all season.
What was first? Do you know what that?
Yeah, it was guess who?
Boston? Milwaukee?
Milwaukee, when we played them the first week of the season, our second game.
Was his second fewest?
When playing 30 or more, because he had games where he played like 18 minutes or 22 minutes where he shot less than that. But
I can see why, because it's like Milwaukee has some size. and may play him a little more straight up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wasn't even trying to really.
Yeah, he don't really go and try to bully Brook for some reason.
He doesn't.
So I think he wasn't in the paint as much. It'll be interesting if we, hopefully we play him in the conference finals. It'll be interesting to see if he challenges him a little more, because it's almost like we're more inclined to put Brook in pick and roll instead of kind of letting Joel post him up. Like he faces up against him, but not really post up. I haven't seen it a lot, which means that Brook's not going to foul him on jump shots.
He also settled a lot for threes. I noticed it was
because he's not going to play up on him. He's going to a certain extent, give him those shots. Especially until he has it going on.
That was a season high in 3-point attempts.
Yeah, because he's going to give him more looks. He's not going to really play him as tight, where Joel can get him off the dribble and attack downhill. Like he's going to give him a late contest using his height.
Didn't he have didn't he have 3 or 4 threes in the last match with the one we won? Didn't he have 3 or 4 threes that he made? I could be wrong about the number on 4 though.
Against Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 3 or 5.
Okay. So maybe he thought he had, he could bring some of that magic back. I don't know.
Well, I think it's the same thing. I think he just has the attempts, and he just made more in the last game. But he knows he's going to get those shots. That's what he knows. So if he's not making them and he's taking all that shot, this is not going to be good for us.
Yeah.
It looks like we just want the playoffs to start. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like they're done. We're the 3 seed. Probably not going to lose a 3 seed. Let's just go. They played it tough, but I think, like you said, when they realized because they got down to like 5-7 a couple times, like 3 or 4 times actually, and then they got it right back up to 12 or 13 again. I think when they realized, like, oh, this isn't going to be like last game where they just like let us come all the way back and tie it with like 3 minutes left. It was kind of like they just kind of lost that energy. Maybe that's what Tobias is talking about. Another scary game from Harden. 11-6. 2 free throw attempts, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting because I know that one time he had, at one point during the game, maybe it was, I think it was the first half, when he just had like back-to-back turnovers where I was like, oh, he just like threw it. And I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was he's going to get that pass. It was like back-to-back.
Drew was all over him in that game.
And
he wasn't letting him do the whole, like, the underhanded bounce that he does.
Yeah, I mean, Drew makes some. I don't think he.
I think he even
like James. James know he can score, but Drew makes him work. But he also, Drew does make him concede at times. Meaning, instead of he can have the ball out top and he'll just give it to someone else to make the play. That doesn't help us. So, like I said, it's different playoffs. It's no more tomorrow if we're losing. So maybe it'll be different then. I haven't seen them play them in the playoffs. I mean, it's different.
That's the lowest field goal attempts for Harden since January 17th.
What game was that?
He only shot 9 times against Milwaukee. Clippers. We won that game by 10, but he had 6 and 9, only 1 of 6 from the field.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's just another game. I'm kind of worried. I mean, he had a good game against Toronto. He looked like himself again, and then he came back, and did that again. He looked in Milwaukee how he looked the previous games before the Toronto game. But 11-6, that's I bet you that's his lowest assist point duo all season, most likely.
Yeah.
That's rough. Hopefully we look good the rest of the season. He can build off that. Maybe he needs his rest. I don't know, but
he did look good in that Toronto game though. Even he had that moment where he said, "I'm still here." That was nice. That was It's always badass when like one of the star players does stuff like that. I'm back or like I'm still here. I love that stuff.
Why'd you leave? Well, it's still here. Where the hell did you go, dude? What do you mean?
Coming back from his injury, dude. You know, give him some time.
Yeah, then you follow up with that, huh? Great. Cool. He's gone again. James Harden's out to lunch. Please leave a message.
So besides the way Brook Lopez guards Embiid, for maybe that's the reason why he's not going to the free throw line, is there also something too, because Giannis leads the league in free throws per game. Is that something where the referee might hold their whistle one way if they're giving a lot of calls one way, just to make the game not stop the game flow as much if they're calling?
I guess you can always say that, but the one thing we know about Giannis is he's always attacking the rim.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for him to go to the free throw line shouldn't shock people. He may get some questionable calls, but it's going to get some calls. You know, people are going to have to try to step up and take some charges on it.
I do like him do that. I do like he's not a good free throw shooter against us. I don't know why, but for some reason he does not shoot well in free throws against us. So
look, that's good, but I also know when he put that 50 piece in the game 6 to win the championship, he made them.
It's true.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he steps up in the playoffs and makes them. It's true.
So I'm not counting on that for us to win the game. We're gonna have to go beat them.
Other than that, looking at the game, I mean, it's weird. I was talking to Marcus about it earlier. Like, there was no glaring place where it was like, oh, that's where it happened. And we out rebounded them offensively. They out rebounded us defensively. They did have a lot more assists than us. Turnovers, we won that battle by 1. Points off turnovers, we won that battle by 7. Fast break points are pretty even. Points in the paint are pretty even. Exact same amount of fouls. They shot 8 more free throws. That makes a difference. And yeah, I guess when Harden and Embiid combined for like 6 or 7 or 8 free throw attempts, that's usually what they get in one game. Think about that for a second. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. So they had 11 percentage points higher in field goal percentage. That's the game. And what we talked about, when we shoot under 50%, we're basically a 500 team. So there you go. They shot over 50. We shot under 50. Probably guess we're going to lose a lot of those games, right? So yeah.
Well, I mean, if we do play them in these, I guess in the Eastern Conference Finals, I guess based with the way the seeding's going up, it's gonna be an interesting series with 2-2 on the season. I know you can't really correlate, playoffs and regular season together, but I mean, it'll be an interesting series having Giannis and Embiid go against each other in a meaningful conference championship.
Yeah, we got a ways before we can talk about that.
This is true, Eric. Okay, so and kind of a segue to that before we get to a potential conference championship against the Milwaukee Bucks. If we keep the 3rd seed, which is seeming like that's what's going to happen, we're going to have to face the 6th seed. And right now, the 6th seed kind of battle is between the Brooklyn Nets, who seem to be getting kind of together after making a lot of trades before the deadline, which a lot of people thought they were kind of packing it in. They seem like to be gelling, and Mikal Bridges, every time he comes out and gets a 40-point performance, it's like, man, you think about what could have been. But I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. And then the Heat, who always seem to play us tough. Jimmy Butler likes to go against his old squad. Between those two teams, between the Nets and the Heat, who is the team that you're like, I'd rather play them in the first round of the playoffs if you had to choose one?
Man, y'all know I'm not big on choosing opponents. You play who you play.
Right.
I would probably say the Nets. Just the lack of time together in the playoffs. A lot of new guys. Mikal Bridges being their leading scorer. I think that's he's doing great, but I do think that getting in the playoffs and all of a sudden he getting all that attention that you would get it as the number 1 option would get in the playoffs would be different for him. I think you can, force him into being more of a jump shooter than attacking the rim. But they do have a lot of depth, a lot of young energy that can, be excited to play spoiler. You know what I'm saying? So I say the Nets, but I do not say it like it's a slam dunk. Miami, I think when they get into the postseason and it's a new season, and having the confidence that they can beat us, that scares me.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say that the Nets more so because of that.
I agree. I think the Nets also, not to say they take them lightly, because they also have a lot of fire when they face us. That Claxton and Embiid, that might be that. I'm just saying.
But the fire.
Remember what happened last time we played the Nets? I foresee a very similar.
I don't know, man. That's it though. Claxton and Embiid. It's nothing else. It wasn't like it was at the beginning of the season. We talked about that. We talked about how it's not that juice is not going to be the same juice as it was, dude. It's not.
But didn't the last time we played them, didn't they almost fight? And we said they have to keep their emotions in check. Wasn't that the game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I agree. I don't. Yes, you're asking me if I'd rather face this Nets and Durant, Kyrie Nets. Yes, 100 and.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Especially with Simmons out, it's not the same juice. It's not. It doesn't have that same like power, man.
See, maybe Eric can talk about this. Even though they don't have some of the elements they had when we were like really heightened, I think the rest of the guys there have kind of inherited that. Like Claxton, no Durant or not, or Kyrie or not, or Simmons or not, Claxton still has that thing. He kept it. Now he has a little chip on his shoulder against us now, right? And he had a good game against Embiid that time.
I think it's a lot of chirping that's going on ever since that trade was made. So I think it was a little banter and chirping kind of because of all of that. And I think that's kind of carried over into him maybe saying something to Joel. I think they kind of had a face-to-face or so. So I think it's that. And I do think that a lot of those guys are getting more opportunities. So –
and what scares me about them too, they're playing so free. Like Miami's got, I'm more scared of Miami, but they have more pressure on them, right? Nets don't know what's going to happen this offseason. Half those guys can be packaged in deals. They're kind of playing with house money, which scares me.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like they have some guys that can. Whereas the thing that you want with them is that their lack of really having
continuity,
proven guys being that number 1-2 option in the playoffs to carry a team, and being together. A lot of those guys have played in the playoffs, but doing it together is lacking. But they do have some guys. They do have some length. They do have some guys that can score the basketball.
Yes.
They do have some guys that can make big plays, like Spencer Dinwiddie can take over a game late in the game.
Yeah,
he's proven it.
He's been playing great.
And like I said, Bridges has been playing awesome, especially scoring the basketball. That's kind of the role that they've put on him. He's not asked to do a lot else. He's not getting rebounded a lot. He's not passing a lot, but he's scoring the basketball. Mm-hmm. So I think the roles are defined a little more. Cam Johnson shoots a 3, and that's always tough when you have a bigger guy that can do it. So they're almost always playing with 4 guys that can shoot the 3 and a big rolling. You shoot the ball well, you give yourself a chance, and they're going to defend.
Mm-hmm. It actually reminds me of the Nets team we played in that series I was talking about.
And they got some
scoring.
And I think the thing about them is their length is underrated. I mean, Spencer is close to 6'4", 6'5", and you got Bridges, and then you got Finney Smith, and you got Cam Johnson.
Yep.
That is a lot of length out there on that perimeter. And then you come in with Curry and what's the other kid from Virginia? Shooter.
Joe Harris.
Joe Harris. You got the other young boy. If he comes in and gives you a little Vinny Johnson, if he gets hot,
yep.
They get the kid, and then the other guy I think that's for them is a little underrated is I can't think of his name. He came from Utah. Remember we were talking about us going after him
on the Nets. Oh yeah, Royce O'Neal. Yep,
Royce O'Neal. Yes. Yep.
And also Seth Curry, too. I don't know if we mentioned Seth.
Yeah, I say Curry.
Okay.
Coming off the bench, Curry and Joe Harris, the shooter. So they got shooting. They have scoring. We should win the series, but wouldn't shock me if they won a game or 2.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, one thing they did do, I know they traded Durant and they traded Kyrie, but they made sure to get a lot of 3-and-D guys, and as we talked about in the show, it's a premium to have in this league, and they got a lot of those types.
And that's without, not the 3 part, but that's without Simmons. Imagine they had Simmons, that'd be another guy who can defend.
Yeah, needs to get that back right.
You said 3-and-D, so you said Ben's not shooting a 3?
Yeah, it'd be like 0-and-D.
Ben could really help that team though if he's playing.
It'd be
even close to the Ben that we experienced. He could really help that team.
He could, yeah, he could. I thought he was going to. I mean, he must really have a back issue, most likely. Now, I'm not going to speculate.
So
but
stop talking about people's injuries.
When they no injury talk, no money talk. That when they made that trade, I actually thought he was going to work with it because all that Durant, Kyrie pressure gone, championship. He doesn't like pressure, so championship pressure is gone. It's like, okay, now I can actually like just kind of man the floor and just kind of dictate this offense now. But you know what? Dude, Dinwiddie since March 1st, 17-10. So Dinwiddie's been turned into a legit point guard.
I mean, I think some of the issue is that those guys came in ready to play, and a lot of these guys weren't. Like they've been starters.
Yeah,
and so to come and you brought a bunch of starters in that wasn't option A, option B on their teams, but all starving for a bigger role. And they got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, either way, I think you guys have hit on it. I mean, it's playoffs. Nothing's going to be easy, especially with a team that's as talented as these guys. So, yeah. And remember last year, first round, everyone was picking Toronto against us. That most of ESPN's picks were Toronto over Philadelphia. So, I mean, we've heard this stuff before. I mean, even if we do play, Brooklyn. I
mean, we're not going to get picks to go past. I don't think it'll be many picks for the Nets, even though they a scary team. But I don't think many people will pick them.
Yeah.
Be interesting. The second round, we will probably be on the not favored to win side.
Yeah,
almost. But that's what happens when somebody play a full season and they end up with a better record.
Yeah,
you can't be surprised.
Yeah, but who knows? If Boston plays Miami, that could be a tough matchup for them as well. I mean, we might be facing Miami in the second round again, a rematch of last year. Who knows? Hopefully, maybe Miami takes care of business for us. Here's a little alley-oop for us. All right.
But at that point, if they do look amazing beating Boston, you don't think at least half the people out there are going to pick them over us?
That's the one thing about it. If they beat the team that people worry about, then you got to worry about them the same thing.
The one saving grace would be Miami's an older team, and if that goes 6 or 7 games, Lowry's legs are going to be jello at that point. So
true.
That's the one positive. So if it's a tough grind, then at least you have some tread on those tires, or tread gone.
All right, so now we're going to get to game picks. We got 4 games to go over here. So first prediction, we have a huge game tonight against the Boston Celtics at home on TNT. And we have another TNT game on Thursday. So we're getting the primetime games this week. This will most likely be the second round matchup, as we talked about, as long as both teams win the first round matchups. So we are a 2-point favorite at home. How big is this game tonight, guys? And who do you guys have in this one?
Huge game. You can still catch them. You have to beat them because we haven't beaten them this year. And coming off the game against Milwaukee. So I think it's a really big game to kind of make a point. Build some more confidence because it's likely we could start shutting people down towards the end of this, as these games wind on.
No.
So I think that you got to win this game.
And who do you have, Eric? -2. Jaylen Brown is questionable, and Robert Williams is out for maintenance reasons, and we have nobody on the injury report.
We're going to win. You said 2.5. We're going to win, and we're going to cover.
Nice. Yeah, it was just 2, but 2.5.
I don't like them halves. Why y'all do that stuff?
I don't know.
They want you to make a tough decision.
The only time I like it, Eric, is in football. I'll do -2.5 if I feel like, you know what, give me a field goal cushion. I'm good. I'll take the Chiefs -2.5. Boom. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
And by the way, I was almost dead on about that Toronto game. We almost won by exactly 6.
It's true.
A stupid free throw made it 7.
We won,
also,
right?
Yeah, we said we covered barely, right?
So the money line I won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, the main spread hit too, but I don't want to have a heart attack watching a dude shoot free throws with 1 second left on the friggin' clock. I lost a game a couple weeks ago. I'm not kidding you. This is how brutal this kind of stuff is, Eric. I lost a game because Jalen Green, they were down by like 10 with like 5 seconds left. Jalen Green sprinted down the court to do a reverse dunk with like 2 seconds left in a meaningless last possession. I lost because of that. So the whole buying points thing can save you some. I do have another question for you, though. As far as Boston's concerned, since we very well might play them if we don't choke or they don't choke, might play them in the second round. Does that change how you go into this game as far as maybe playing it a little more vanilla? Or do you say screw it?
You play the game, but you don't show them anything that you would pull out in the playoffs. You don't show it. You play the way you've played against them. So anything they can get on film, you can go ahead and go and do that. But if it's something that you're holding or certain way you're going to play Tatum or Brown or certain matchups that you want to try, yeah, you hold on to that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I want to know what the final injury report is, but so right now Robert Williams is out or he's questionable?
Yeah, he's out with maintenance issues.
Definitely out. And Jaylen Brown is questionable.
Questionable with lower back. And we have nobody on the injury report. So, and we're -2. So I think it's pretty obvious who you should be taking here.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't need to pick anymore. Marcus is big for me. Yes, I mean, yeah, I think we win. I think we have to win. I think we should win. Hopefully what would make it all equal, and I said this before, so the last 3 games, Boston killed Milwaukee. Milwaukee killed us. And if we kill Boston, then all 3 of the last games are just like totally canceled out. So there you go. So we're all good. So I hope we put a whipping on them just so we can have that. It's nice to go into that too, having that momentum behind you going to the playoffs, especially if we play in the second round.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the other primetime game we have on Thursday, nationally televised game on TNT. We got Miami Heat coming to Philadelphia. Obviously, spread's not out yet. It's on Thursday. But who do you guys have in that one?
I'm going to say Miami. The reason why I'm saying Miami is I think we're going to pull guys back. And Miami's trying to hold on to 2 home games in the play-in if it's needed. That's how I kind of see it. I think we pull guys. I would assume some guys don't play.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see them getting down to the last couple games. What is that? Is that the next to last game, or is we have 2 after that?
We have 2 after that, yeah.
Yeah, because I could see a guy not playing Thursday, but playing the next game.
Now, Boston plays back-to-back. They play us, and they play Toronto on Wednesday. If they lose against Toronto, then we are, I think, I believe we'll be a game and a half out at that point. You still think we rest people for a game and a half away from the 2nd seed?
Yes. Isn't Doc on record saying he wanted to be healthy for the playoffs?
Yep.
He's on record saying that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they have the tiebreaker, so that's 3 games.
Yeah.
You're right about that's true. So mathematically, I mean, if we win tonight, we'll be 52-27. They'll be 54-25. Let's say they lose against Toronto, 54-26. We'd have to win out, and they'd have to lose 2 more games, right?
Yeah, they're gonna start pulling people.
I'll tell you what, though, they play Toronto again.
Toronto's trying to win.
Yeah,
I know. So they play Toronto
Toronto's
twice.
trying to win because Toronto's trying to be the 8th seed so they can get a home game if they lose that first game.
Yep. So they play Toronto twice. And the other team they play to end the season, all three are at home, by the way. What a joke. To end the season, they play Atlanta, who also wants to win right now.
Yeah, Atlanta's also not playing Trae Young tonight.
Yep.
So you have two teams battling out for the 8th seed in Toronto and Atlanta, and they're tied.
It could come down to if Atlanta need that game.
So no layups.
I can also see Boston going to win that game, knowing that they won't play until Saturday or Sunday. I think they're trying to go get a game to kind of keep you all off. I don't think Boston pulls teams like we will. That's why I think we'll pull Thursday, because the scenarios won't play out.
Yeah. Oh, no, if Boston beats Toronto tomorrow, yeah, there's no, we probably do rest our guys against Miami. And if the thing is, if we beat Brooklyn, it also helps Miami. So there's that too.
Yeah.
And if we let Brooklyn, if we rest guys, if we beat if Miami beats us, it actually helps them reach Brooklyn. That was what I meant. Yeah. So there's that too. So it's.
So who are you picking on Thursday?
And we pick and we play.
This guy's talks all around him.
So we play Brooklyn and Miami. So we play both potential teams that we could be facing in the first round. Which is interesting.
He still want to know who you picking.
They danced around the question.
In the middle of a conversation, he's asking me for my friggin' pick.
I'm curious. You had all these things.
Dancing. We were talking about the scenario.
There was no direction to the point of that.
Yeah, because we were just talking about playoff scenarios, who's going to play and who's not.
Oh man.
Operating under the assumption that we're going to rest guys.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
That's his opinion. What's your opinion on it, and who are you picking? I mean,
if we rest guys and Miami needs it, we're gonna lose to Miami. I mean,
Miami might be resting guys too.
They're old, man. You said it yourself.
Whoa, no way. They don't want to be in the sevens. They don't want to play in the play-in game. You think they want to play in the play-in game with the age of that roster? No way they want any part of that play-in game.
I don't know what they want.
I think we could all agree they probably don't want to play an extra game in the play-in game. Maybe 2 extra games if they lose. Think about that. Yeah. I'd say Miami will try to win that game, and they'll try to beat us. And they're hoping we rest guys against Brooklyn so they can make up another game. If we play all our guys, I think we win against Miami, because that means we're trying to reach Boston, and if we are playing our guys, then most likely Toronto beat Boston, which gives us a bigger hope to come back.
All right. Okay, so now
I don't see Boston win. I don't see Boston losing back-to-back games. That's just my opinion. I think if Jaylen Brown and them don't play against us, he plays against Toronto.
Yeah, they'll probably play tomorrow. But it comes down to who's hungrier, right? Also, because Toronto's trying to get out of that play-in game too, if they can avoid it. Yeah. Or no. Well, I guess they could.
Well, they're just trying to get that that one of them 2 games at home.
Yeah. Yeah. They want to get out of the 9th seed.
Yes.
So we got second to last game of the season, Friday night, Atlanta. We're traveling to Atlanta for this one. Who do you guys have in this one?
Atlanta. Same reason.
Ready for a long-winded explanation? No, I'm kidding.
I'm Atlanta. I think Miami is probably the game that we have a chance to play everyone. I think, just so you know, the last 2 games, I don't think we win either one, because I can see James not playing it either. I can see Joel not playing it either, or maybe one playing one. I even see PJ and Tobias and all those guys sitting some of those games. So I think we're pulling guys and giving them full full week off from games and getting ready for the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if we clinch 3 and we can't get 2,
it's a wrap.
There's no point at that point. Right. Then we lose.
He may get to see McClung like you keep hoping he can do.
Maybe.
Yeah, possibly. But then again, it doesn't mean we're going to lose, right? Because our backups have beaten teams before. We might play a few of the starters, maybe just not Joel.
I mean, the other teams may pull too. You know, if the Nets are set, they're probably going to rest some guys.
That's true too. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go on a limb and say that we're just going to hold out too many guys, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Especially if we're locked in at 3, then we're going to sit guys the rest of the year and lose.
Because I think even the guy that's a little young guy that we usually would never sit like Maxey, I think Maxey just wants to play and he's a young guy, but maybe you just don't play him as much. That's the thing. Some of these guys play, but the minutes are cut in half.
Mm-hmm. Especially if it gets anywhere near out of hand.
You put them in the fourth quarter and you close in the fourth quarter with all your reserves. So even when your group starts, that could still happen.
Yeah.
So Hawks, I'm hearing Hawks from both you guys and Nets for both you guys too for the final game of the season.
For me,
if it's clinched that we have 3, if we have a chance to get 2, then I think we keep playing guys.
All right.
I think they're pulling guys regardless.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Well, Doc said it though.
Doc's on record, right?
Yeah.
Oh, because coaches never lie or embellish.
Just saying, like, he said it publicly. I didn't ask him. He said it.
It's true.
Health was more important than what?
Than seeding.
Isn't that what he said? Huh?
Yeah, true. But then Harden made it sound like he's playing the rest of the year.
Okay.
And Harden said a lot of things in his past too, Teja. So he wanted to stay in Brooklyn too.
Yeah.
Health is more important than the seed.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, that's what we're going to see. We're going to see who's a bigger man of their word, Doc or the Beard.
Yep. But we apologize to you in advance, Teja, that you won't be able to get to see the big time guys on Easter Sunday.
I'm hoping things work
out. Go to an
out.
earlier game, man.
That's serious.
Go to one of the first 65 games or something. You're bound to see him.
Hey, maybe I'll go to a playoff game if we play Brooklyn again.
There you go. You definitely see him there.
For sure. Well, hopefully, knock on wood.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for us. We hope you guys enjoy the rest of the regular season, and we'll see you guys next week where we kind of recap do some end of the season awards as we head into the playoffs. So,
yeah.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Later.